Heuristic Investment Systems Strategy Engine is used in developing, testing, formulating and presenting investment strategy ideas across asset classes, sectors, currencies and stocks. In this short introductory video, we will look at some of the key benefits of the strategy engine. Firstly, as a multi-user platform, it acts as a central repository for all your economic and financial market data. Secondly, the strategy engine has analytical tools to assist in testing ideas and formulating investment strategy. Third, it's an interactive presentation platform where intelligence is shared either internally or externally with clients who can pose questions, investigate events and scenarios. Finally, the strategy engine has data monitoring and report writing capabilities where charts can be organized into presentation topics and sent and uploaded to Word documents. What's more, the strategy engine avoids the idiosyncratic and unstable features of spreadsheets. Under the new data function, the strategy engine will provide a list of most recently updated or uploaded data. You can see here the list. We've got German unit labour costs. By double clicking onto that, I can view the underlying chart, or right clicking I can access all the charts where that series has been used, as we can see in the following. We can also view series properties. In this example, I'm looking at a list of German data. We can see it has a nickname attached to it, a unique ID, the source, tier as to whether it's a key or a second tier variable, the number of charts in which that series is used, latest data, whether it's announced or listed as new data, and what the treatment of that series will be as to when it's adjusted to a higher or a lower frequency. And series also can have proxy values, so a monthly series could be proxied by a daily series. Analytical tools. The strategy engine has a range of analytical tools and methodologies to assist in exploring investment and economic ideas and relationships and formulating and back-testing investment strategies. For example, the strategy engine has a capability to build models. In the example in front of us, we are looking at sector relative performance, 6-month relative performance that is, and we are regressing those against 6-month change in the 10-year bond yield, and we're able to rank those series according to an R-squared or a beta or a T-stat. We can also build an individual model for a series, and in this case we'll choose utilities. It will be regressed against the 6-month change in the bond yield. By going regress, we come up very quickly with a regression, give some basic statistics for that regression, and there's the chart. If we like that as a model, we can save. It'll save the regression or the model as a series that can be used throughout the strategy engine. The strategy engine also has a screening and ranking capability. If we take a folder of series, in this case we're taking regional equity markets, we can rank those markets according to preset criteria or criteria that we can set up within the strategy engine ourselves. In this example, we are using some valuation criteria for all the global regional markets: PE relative to the world, PE relative to its own history, price to book, dividend yield and earnings yield, bond yield. They can be given their own weightings. The period of time could be chosen according to your requirements, and by pressing rank, it will rank those particular markets according to the criteria and the weightings that you have given it. The strategy engine's correlation function allows you to look at the correlation of a sector or an asset class against a range of other variables. They could be economic or other market type variables. In this case, we're looking at the correlation of the utilities relative performance to the equity market over 6 months against a series here including NAB business conditions, cash rates and so on. It is ranking those in the middle panel. As you can see here, utilities relative performance highly correlated with changes in the bond yield. By clicking onto that, I can see the actual chart of the series, or by selecting correlation series I can look at the longer term correlation of that. As you can see here, it's showing a rolling correlation over 60 months. I can change the term to see how it's changed over time. You can also generate a correlation matrix. In this example, we're looking at asset classes over the past 120 months. 1 month change generates a correlation matrix. We can look at also the volatilities of the asset classes. But more interestingly, we can then go in and look at a particular regime to see how that may have impacted both correlations and volatilities. If I choose US 10-year major sell-off regimes, we can then see that will regenerate that correlation matrix, and we can actually view the impact of that regime compared to the overall situation. The engine also allows you to rank a range of variables, whether it be sectors, asset classes, stocks, currencies, given a certain condition is true. In the example here, I'm using 10-year bond yields less than 6 months ago, and we're ranking each of the sector relative performances by their average return when that condition is true. As we can see here, utilities is one of the highest ranked. So if we double click on utilities, we get the actual distribution of returns when that is the case. So what we're seeing here is that when bond yields are falling over 6 months, utilities have outperformed by 7.4%, done so 84% of the time, as opposed to when the condition is false, underperformed by 4%. It also provides a distribution of those returns in the lower panel. The Strategy Engine's Event Profiler allows you to look at an index or a market, sectors, stocks, pre and post occurrences of a particular event. I'm looking at the S&P 500, and I'm going to now choose Event Profiler from the drop down and select Event Profiler. The event I wish to look at is Fed tightening, but while we're here we can see that there's a whole range of events: calendar events, credit events, earnings cycles, geopolitical, so on and so forth, risk events that can be customized. So selecting US tightening periods, now what we're seeing now is the performance of the US equity market in the 10 months pre and the 12 months post the initial Fed tightenings in each of those years. If we wanted to actually remove an occurrence of the event as it was deemed less relevant, then we would merely do this, click Feb 97, and that's now been taken out of the analysis. As you can see there, that's now been removed. So we're now looking at the performance of the US equity market. This is the performance on the Y scale. We can also look at regimes. I want to select a regime. This time we will select another interest rate regime. It will be major sell-offs in the US 10-year. Once again, we have a range of those set up. They can be calendar, earnings downturns, recessions, so on. So I'm choosing a major sell-offs in the US 10-year. And just to show you what that is encapsulating here, we can see through the event profiler, we can see that these are the periods that we've shaded in. They're the regimes of sharply rising US bond yields. We can actually see here in basis point terms what has actually occurred to the US 10-year. And if I just shorten that horizon, we can see the basis point sell-off in US Treasuries in the sell-offs of 93, 98, 05, 09 and 2013. So we can then proceed to look at the performance of various asset classes also during that period. Once again, I'll use the S&P 500 as an example, express it in index terms. You can see here broadly the equity market has managed to continue to rise, except for the case of 1994. Of course, these charts can be sent off to or saved within the Strategy Engine or set off to a Word document. We can also look at the actual returns in relation to all of these assets mentioned in the left-hand panel during the periods of rising bond yields, so we get a feeling for a ranking of assets or sectors or stocks. The Strategy Engine as an interactive presentation platform. The Strategy Engine can be used to present views and analysis, either internally to investment teams, for example, or to clients externally. Not only does the Strategy Engine allow you to present what we call topics, That is a story that's made up of charts and text on screen or in person or over the web, but it's an interactive platform where the client can pose questions and investigate issues on the fly. For example, you may wish to show your audience how the Aussie dollar might perform given certain outcomes for variables included in your model. For example, I'm on this AUD topic page. We can go select a scenario from the list of scenarios. We have a model for this that looks at the Australian dollar on a certain scenario, and they're the input variables: real GDP, spreads, relative interest rate differentials in terms of trade, and we can apply that scenario to this chart. And you can see there it's now input values for the Australian dollar model going forward 12 months. We can have a closer look at that chart here and then display out going to 2 years, and you can see here now what the model is suggesting as fair value for the Australian dollar going forward. Another topical issue within a strategy session may be the valuation of US equities and prospective returns going forward. One way of tackling this issue might be to go via the workspace in the strategy engine and look at annualized 10-year returns from US equities, and I'm going to do that now. And also look at that alongside, for example, a CAPE or a Shiller PE. And that chart now there is showing along the bottom axis we have the Shiller PE, and on the y-axis we have the following 10 years return. We can then highlight the current observations and see how recent observations have placed. We could then undertake this analysis and say current valuations and prospective 2-year annualized returns. In another example of the interactivity of the strategy engine, you might be asked to have a look at the performance of various currency hedging strategies. In the example here, and this is using the strategy engine backtester, where we develop a set of strategies based on valuation triggers for the Australian dollar relative to a fundamental valuation model, where we take certain positions in terms of the hedge ratio. This can look back over a period of time, and based on the set of rules put in place designed by the user, we can then determine the performance of a portfolio or a set strategy. Report writing and data monitoring. A topic or a group of charts can easily be uploaded to a Word document. For example, in this Strategy 2014-15 document, merely by exporting to Word with text, we can send this document off to a Word document. Regular chart packs can also be produced from the strategy engine. Clicking on charts, and then going to a particular folder of charts, and I'm picking out Evaluations Report, which within it has a whole range of charts. We merely have to go press that and select a presentation style, so we can have different presentation styles for different documents. Start, so the presentation style that we're using here, it's using the date, the 23rd of March 2015, the current date, and then process all, and that will produce a chart pack. Throughout the strategy engine, transform data can be resurfaced to add value in a variety of ways. One way in which this can be done is through a system of watches. We have the ability to set up a group of watches. For example, RBA watch indicator, which looks at a range of different variables and threshold levels, and if they are true, they are given a value. We add these together to produce an overall indicator value, and that value might be a strong indicator of, in this, for example, RBA easing or RBA tightening. That group watch or easing indicator then be turned into a series and used elsewhere within the strategy engine. Another way of monitoring data within the strategy engine is through the use of dashboards. Clicking the dashboard icon, I can sift through a list of dashboards that are currently set up. We will select one called US labour market. You select the variables that you wish to display in that dashboard, press the button and it comes up with the dashboard that shows the indicator. Now these are all user defined, weak, trend, strong, and it will show the dark triangle will be the most recent reading. The paler triangle in this instance will be what it was 3 months ago, and you can track the movement and level of a range of indicators within a similar topic. It could be a valuation dashboard, inflation dashboard. A whole range of options are available, and these can be sent to Word documents as well.